Hey guys, in this video I want to continue my muscle confusion series. I'm going to be talking about rep ranges. Do magic rep ranges exist for muscle building? Before I get into that topic, guys, I encourage you to stick around to the end of this video, find out how you can reach me with your questions and or comments. So I get a lot of questions regarding rep ranges. Are there magic rep ranges? Should I switch up my rep ranges to maximize muscle building, so on and so forth? I want to answer these questions and give you some advice that'll hopefully help you move forward. Let's talk about, first and foremost, the importance of maximizing every set. There was a meta-analysis on the muscle build, on numerous muscle building studies. This was done by Carpinelli. I believe the gentleman's name was Robert Carpinelli. You can Google this. If you Google Carpinelli and muscle building, or Carpinelli and meta-analysis, you're probably going to find a couple articles I wrote on that reference this study. Clarence Bass, you can Google that name as well. Along with Carpinelli, you'll find some additional information. Anyway, what the meta-analysis basically found is that rep ranges don't mean as much as how hard you push each set. Simply stated, that varying rep ranges might be a good idea, but it's most important to push each set for as many reps as possible. By doing so, you're recruiting maximal number of muscle fibers, and you're going a long way to push that muscle to grow bigger. So if you're using, simply stated, if you're using 5 or 6 rep sets, you want to push that weight for as many reps as possible. You want the 5th or 6th rep to be like 1 rep shy of failure. I typically recommend all sets stop about 1 rep shy of failure. So regardless of the rep range you're using, you want that set to be about 1 rep away from failure. So if you're using 5 to 6 reps, you want that to be about 1 rep away from failure. If you're using 8 to 12 reps, you want that to be about 1 rep away from failure. If you're using 12 to 15 reps, you want those sets not reps, to be 1 rep away from failure. So regardless of the rep range you use, you want to make sure you're pushing your sets properly. You're pushing your sets to about 1 rep shy of failure. Now you can go to failure on certain exercises because certain exercises aren't going to punish you as much as others. But you know, exercises like squats and deadlifts, obviously you don't want to be pushing to failure. There's too much risk. Some exercises, there's very little risk when pushing to failure. So I don't blanketly say you should never train to failure, but when I say push every set 1 rep shy of failure, some exercises you can obviously push them to failure without penalty. So back on topic, you want to push every set for as many reps as possible, regardless of the rep range. The Carpinelli meta-analysis showed that the weight you use, the relative intensity, isn't as important as pushing how hard you push each set. So if you use 5 rep sets for muscle building, if you use 15 rep sets for muscle building, find a rep range that works for you on a specific exercise and just work that hard. You recruit the maximal amount of muscle fibers. Now another question we have, not a maximal, you recruit as many as possible. You're not recruiting all, you're recruiting as many muscle fibers as possible. Another question I have along these lines is, should I vary my rep ranges? I rarely think that's a bad thing, but I kind of do it naturally. On the compound exercises, I tend to work within 5 to 8 rep sets. On the lighter compounds, I might push it to 8 to 12 rep sets. And on the more machine and isolation stuff, I tend to do 12 to 15 rep sets, simply because it feels better. I don't like to do 15 rep sets on real heavy exercises like the bench press, because my form tends to get sloppy. And when my form gets sloppy, over time, you'll increase the risk of pains and strains and so on and so forth. So my choice of rep ranges per exercise is more pragmatic. I like to use higher reps on exercises where the form is more forgiving, like cable tricep extensions. You can do more exercise or more reps on exercises like that. And if your form gets sloppy, you're not going to pay a physical toll. So basically, On the real heavy compound lifts, the question you have to ask yourself is, will there be a penalty if my form gets sloppy? I don't like performing reps when the form gets sloppy, therefore higher reps on some of the compound lifts don't make sense. But there is some evidence that, you know, changing or playing around with multiple rep ranges is a good thing. I wouldn't obsess about it. I wouldn't obsess about it for this reason, because as those of you who watch my channel know, I've interviewed and profiled and worked out with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of natural bodybuilding champions and natural power lifters and so on and so forth. They all train differently. They all train differently. Consistency, pushing those sets, progression, you know, food, all the basics, that's what really matters. So don't obsess about including every rep range possible in every workout. Just try it. You can vary them a little bit, but I wouldn't get obsessive compulsive about that. So the topic of this video was, do magic rep ranges exist? No, not really. It can be a good idea to vary your rep ranges, but make sure it's exercise appropriate and you know, you aren't killing yourself if your form gets sloppy on that exercise by trying to do higher reps. And most of all, for those of you in your first 3-4 years, try to push as many sets as you can close to failure. This will ensure maximum muscle recruitment, which will help you achieve the most rapid possible progressive overload, and this will help with the muscle building process. This will help maximize the muscle building process. Maximizing sets is what I'm all about, and this is the way I teach it. So guys, I hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, there's a link below to a Q&A. Come on over, ask me any questions you want on strength training, muscle building, diet, nutrition, supplementation, or motivation. And guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.